Hi, happy everyday birthday for everyone who watching me right now. But first of all, happy birthday for my dearest friend, my big homie, firstborn, original legend of Detroit, and I could say one of best music producers who ever walk Earth. You're gonna discover this hopefully very soon. Today, I decided, as a gift for him, personal gift from me, myself, and I, that I will tell entire world what hip hop means to me. And you heard it a lot on this very channel, probably in Polish. For many people, me speaking English is like something so exotic that they are unable to perceive it. That's either funny or just unperceivable. So, for those who can hear me and who are able to see me right now and perceive my message, hip hop is something, and especially when I say hip hop, I mean rap music. In this very case, I need to tell you how it even started. I was like 13 years old when I wrote my first song. However, I was sure that this is poetry, but somehow I just needed to scream it, not say it, right? It was something about delivery, right? But then I discovered that actually, as a person who is number blind and who absolutely cannot count, I was never counting sheep before going to sleep. I was more like giving them names and, dissing them on freestyle or like something. I was always telling to myself about all happenings in rhymes in my own head. So I was calling these rhyming heads, like, but in Polish, and I was more like keeping this to myself. Till some point, when exactly I discovered first time hip hop music, and we were first words I've ever heard in like language of hip hop, also in English, was words of very original Dr. Dre, and that was about strength of street knowledge. Of course, that was N.W.A. And since this very first moment I got this sound in my ears, I was under like serious enlightenment, because for me, rap music was language of soul, and still it is. And I heard it at the very first time and couldn't comprehend no single word. Remember, I'm from Poland, right? So this is in between Germany and Russia, and that was first time I have huge headphones on my ears in our music shop, local music shop, and first time I could hear hip hop, in my entire life. So what I need to say right now, maybe not popular or maybe bringing me some, well, even not very, let's say, likable descriptions. However, I need to say it because it's true, and I want to give you the whole story. So first time I heard this music of N.W.A, right? And I seen how CD looks like, and I see how album cover looks like. And I remember, I've been, in Poland, right? I've been sure that when I'm gonna speak this word language, every, dark-skinned person in the entire world gonna understand me, because I was sure that's the language. I was sure that you need to speak rhymes and rhythm, and that does it. So, but also, to explain myself a little bit how I perceive language, when I was smaller, I was sure that every language has their own alphabet. So if I'm gonna learn the letters, I can just use different letters, spelled approximately the same, and I was sure that's how it works. Like, so life was disappointment in those two precisely like cases. However, never disappointed me in hip hop. Since I heard about street knowledge, well, first of all, I dropped school for 3 months and 3 weeks because I was in 7th grade, and I decided at this very moment I heard N.W.A. that those are my teachers, my mentors. Like, I want to know how to put entire life, entire soul, entire substance in language, in words. I needed to know it. I've been sure that human being cannot give nothing more, or like cannot give better communication. So I decided that my school, usual school, was like super dull, and that's not the place to keep me, like, you know, amongst different people in the buildings entire time. Like, no, not at this chapter of life. So I decided to go to local shop which we call Empik, and it was looking like this. Every day I was going kinda to school. However, I've been switching the road, and I've been landing with those huge headphones, and because there was no lyrics to this very album, and they haven't been like included there, I took dictionary, and I've been listening to them, like play, pause, and then I had my notebook. This one I've been using formerly to school, of course. So I decided to put every word out there, and at some point that was obvious that it grew into idea that I need to make a ritual. Whenever I'm gonna have entire album, I will read this loud, hopefully with some candles or at least sunlight, to manifest this, because at least I can start some rivers of the universe about whatever they said, because it's so important. And well, I was even stopping some people working there and asking them, "Excuse me, ma'am, do you speak English?" And sometimes they'd be like, "Yeah." So I'm like, "Can you explain me this line?" And many people threw away the headphones. Remember, I was like 13/14 in Poland, right? So so they've been like, "Why are those people screaming at me?" Or like, "Girl, they're swearing too much, I'm not gonna say that." Or I heard the comment, "I'm too Catholic for this shit." And I'm like, "What? You're supposed to hear DOC." And yeah, and then I was struggling with the translation a little bit, but after 3 months and something, I actually got entire. I came to myself at the time, and following this, I had my first mental breakdown, because at this point, hip hop meant so much to me that I was at least expecting some, you know, peace-bringing spells put upon entire world, because for me, that was language of spells, language of wizards, language of the highest free will and truth and also courage of a person. So, while they've been rapping about, let's say, well, some different content, I was like in the midst of an album. Yeah, I actually fall apart into pieces, into splinters, and started to cry. And the guy who was working there made me a tea, like with sugar in like hot beverage treatment. And they didn't know what to do with me, and they asked me, "Okay, why are you crying so much?" And I'm like, "Because it makes no sense. Why are they using language of soul to do something like this?" So, and then I promised to myself, like on my very own honor, which was the highest level of promise in my life, and always will be, that actually on my very own watch, while I'm in life, hip hop gonna mean something. Rap music gonna manifest reality as we all want to live, because that's street truth of the generation put in sound, because it's power, and people who use this at the time I was perceiving it like this didn't knew entire power. However, I was kind of limited with this point of view, because right now, while I'm a little bit more expanded, and let me expand on that a little bit. Lately, in like form of birthday gift, because I also have a birthday the next day, 12th of November, yay! But I have everyday birthday, so anytime you're ready, just send me a wish. I'm mutual like life itself, so you can multiply blessings, or just, you know, something else. So, be wise. And while my birthday, everything multiplied by my magic. But of course. So, get back to hip hop, because that's literally the reason of my warmth in my heart and of my light. And at the very moment, I also decided to learn English to know who the fuck they talking to me, right? And then, couple months later, I was at home. We have TV, like, you know, freshly, and my sister was like 1 year old, approximately. She was born the same day as I was, 13 years later, the same month, almost same hour, like 5 minutes of difference. So here you go. And also magic. So back to hip hop. This birthday I got into some serious shock slash enlightenment, because I seen something. I perceive life by sound. I'm synesthetic, like, entirely. So for me, sonic information is most important. Not how I look at things or how I can perceive them by vision, but seriously, when I see you talking to me, I see more like a dancing, you know, swirl of atoms and with some certain color, unless I'm like seriously very focused or danced. So some people, as a part of my birthday gift, gave me the knowledge, how they call me in the hood, right? So they call me the I'm sequel to Lucy. Lucy was the movie, right? Then they call mother of one homie tells that I'm like this girl from Fifth Element, and she told me that she thanks me, she feel thankful that I'm not naked when I come to dinner. So okay. Then they say that I'm little expanded, and then I can say some things which they cannot understand sometimes, but they need to say thanks. Yeah, I'm highest priestess, the job description, angelic force in human flesh, with the name of Anna in this very life. So hip hop is language of freedom for me. And then this very day, I heard and I see the voice I heard in my life since I became alive. The voice which actually summoned me to be in this very form, to take a life on earth, to bring what I do represent, what my reason of my soul is about. And well, literally, I dropped my shit because I had some trays with some dinner, with some, like, you know, tea, but of course, and with some stuff for my sister. She been crowning behind my back, and then in all this, and I just couldn't move, because first time I seen this very voice like talking to me since I was born, and I cannot understand because that's in English, and because it's like, and it's filtered through some type of devices, and yeah. So I came for like an idea that I need to ask somebody smarter what the fuck just happened, right? So I came for my homegirl at the time, like my friend, which we've been making music together. We had squad together. Studio Splot was the name of the squad. Yep. So, yeah, Gonix, still remember. she was music producer and a rapper. She's still rapping, you know, and that was me. So, and at the time, I needed somebody to see what is like happening. So I remember just some splash of comments, right? And she was laughing because she see me like struck by lightning. And she said, yeah, it's just something like you, but it's speaking English. Deal with this. You know, maybe use some next version, and maybe that's the prototype. I don't know, you know. And she left me with this joke in my Kenny Bundy head, and I spent some time and some serious conversation with angels to discover what I've discovered and to be where I'm right now. But the entire time, I had most special soundtrack of reality. And this soundtrack is exactly hip-hop. And then at the very beginning, I had, of course, just, you know, pirate copies. Haha. But of course, and till the level that on my first demo, we stole from somebody's hard drive instrumental for the song Doing It, right? And we made a song with the name of Dynamicznie, which is dynamically. And we received, as a squad, as people, like, you know, as poets, we're supposed to receive some award. But I'd be like, wait, we cannot go there. Why? Here's my explanation here. According to myself, in my former younger version, we cannot go there because the guy with the name of LL Cool J probably gonna be there and he know that we stole it. I was psyched. You know what? I was ready to go to church and say it, and I did. They absolutely didn't understood the level of my crime at the time, and my testimony was probably exotic, but hey, I tried everything, so hopefully I clean my sins right now. And maybe somebody has this song somewhere, you know, maybe you're gonna hear it someday, but that's not the point. The point is that since I remember, I was commenting on everything with rhymes. Some people been enchanted, some people been sure that I'm mocking them. Well, some people wanted to ask me and check up on it if I have some problems. So eventually they brought them. And yeah, and also, you know, once I got in some serious fight because I had purple tape of evidence, partially destroyed by myself because I don't know what happened, devices behaving on me, behaving badly, of course, and so the type got destroyed partially, but partially I could put some Pete Rock smooth sailing on it and some other part of Pete Rock, right? So that's like instrumentals. So, and also some instrumental from LP and Esoteric at the time. Well, I had this from someone's hip-hop catalog by Emil or Kaza or whatever. Only God can judge me and only He won't. I know it. So, at the time, I was feeling like that's my harvest from entire kingdom of internet. I felt like I literally need it, and that's super for my soul. So some girls wanted to take away my Walkman, right? Like took away. So they wanted to like precisely make some small fight and then take my music. But I've been fighting, like I'm fighting for my very own life. At some point, I went took this device and, you know, I delivered justice. At this time, I'm smiling about this because it has very good outcome. The one girl, at some point, she'd be like, okay, we don't want it anymore. And she was tired and she said, okay, but who the fuck is on this tape? But I'm like, and three others just ran away, right? And I'm like, okay, I let you hear it, you earn it. And she been lying down on, like, you know, earth, like on the ground, me too. And I had this headphones, which I think really not hygienic to just switch with some people to like other ears, but at the time I decided to pull my shamanic string, and I'd be like, okay, I can share some bacteria in the name of hip hop. So I gave one to her, one to me, and that was Darker Clouds of Evidence. And then yeah, and then this Smooth Sailing. And she said to me, my God, it's so fucking awesome, what is this? And I said, listen, this is hip hop music. This is like, you know, rap music, but without words in here, because I'm making my own words when I'm working. And she like, oh my God. So can you come to my home and just, you know, we're gonna print this on other tape and we're gonna have 2 of them? And she became my friend. So yeah, remember, that's like some girl power thing. And she is a fan of hip hop like till right now. So the point is that hip hop was always with me, and that's a home of mine, you know. Okay, till I left Poland and dropped the entire continent, like sheesh, like, you know, like I'm the caterpillar who just need to leave the old flashy jacket and became something else, which I did in here. So so when I did it, till I did it, I was actually having 19 movies. 19. So I could never make some like interior design or some stable altar, let's say like this. And it was always either on a run or on some like, you know, weird happenings because of past. Every saint has past, but not every sinner has a future. Remember this, hive mind? Yeah. So, and because of this, I was like, you know, when I came here, I'm super fluent in changes. I'm actually the type of person who never try to stay in place. I try to stay in times. When I needed to be in some type of power or just rediscover some personal power form, then I was having some playlists to literally bring me this very frequency. And as I see the sound, and sound is super important for me. It's like we live in the membranes. Life is water, semantically speaking, just, you know, structure-wise akin some patterns. This is super important to see that we are a form of water who just follow some very specific orders of divine, of own light, of own, let's say, inner information. However you're gonna say it. For me, that's God. So, I hear this very God in hip hop, and especially when I hear love in this hip hop, and especially in 2 voices. And you know what? I've collected probably millions of them, like in Polish, in German, in English, of course, in many languages, because I wanted to contain of hip hop as street knowledge, as street truth, as literally some talk of prophets, because this is what it is for me. Erykah Badu, prophet. Kendrick Lamar, prophet. Marshall Mathers, prophet. DOC, prophet. Also J. Cole, prophet. You know, some days Busta Rhymes too, but I wouldn't be talking about those days. However, yeah, San John already told you, so get to your lecture. So I say, it's, yeah, of course, that's shout, but weird one, because I'm a witch. It's gonna be weird. You know, you probably, as internet, as people who listen to me, gonna think about this for some moment, or for some hours of life. but I need to live this like every day. And I'm not even trying to aim for my reality to not be weird. It's gonna be weird, I know it, but I'm okay, because whenever I recombine reality towards something new, that's new. Nobody know how to follow. Nobody know what the fuck to think about this. I claim myself a witch in the country of Poland, which is like, let me remind you, strictly Catholic, especially like in politics and stuff. So somebody burned the place I was living. So you know what we're talking about. Yeah. So I was pioneer in many things, but I wouldn't be if I wouldn't hear this substance of courage in my heart, in my veins, yeah, in everything I am. If I needed seriously like spirit summon, like summon spirit animal of courage, I would be listening to Tupac. That's the other voice I hear laugh within. He laughed hip hop. He laughed live. For sure, hear success, like everything you hear in Pac's voice is filled with love and deep understanding. This is how I perceive it. And everything I hear in the voice of Marshall, I perceive as highest presence of God, as seriously light and warmth, and actually the brightest victory of goodness. This is the best person on earth. If somebody cannot see it, I'm like, sheesh. Like, I'm working with this very hive mind called internet and humanity per se. Still fucking play, by the way. Thank me that. There's the comment section to do this. I have magic school 12 years in a row, and I'm teaching alchemy. I'm teaching law of attraction. I'm teaching about angelic magic, of course. I'm practitioner every day. That's why we even alive till right now. Hello. So because of this, I feel like I contributed something, and I just not even think, I hope that someday this very hive mind gonna be expanded enough to perceive hip-hop music in entire, to perceive what exactly this music bring. You know, people see, they talking about guns, they talking about killings, they talk about well, some type of let's say content, which usually your subconsciousness would be trying to, you know, laundry while you're dreaming, or while some wicked nightmares, or you know, they kicking the taboo you would be even unable to think about with yourself. And if you cannot afford to pay for schmink, still fucking play. The second time, you have entire playlist of people who been through hell and who actually can be your guides. And if you resonate more with frequency like this voice or like this very life and happenings, you can pick it. You have everything to develop your soul on it. Not even mention your mindset or everything you are in your life going through. Because, like, okay, some pop artists, they can choose to sing about love content, and don't get me wrong, I don't treat them lower. However, I never heard such sincerity and precise genius in descriptions as I heard in hip hop. And also I heard it in Polish hip hop, which I'm ready to translate time to time, if or entire time, if I will hear something worth translate. And you know what? I'm huge fan of many Polish MCs. However, some of them being kicked off my playlist for some, you know, politic or some, let's say, yeah, publicity stunt behaviors. Because, you know, it's not about judgment, it's about quality, it's about quantity, It's about not even standards, but how I perceive rappers. For me, as those people speaking entire lively, I do not want to be dirty with their lives, or um, doesn't matter if they rhyme super great. If that's empty, you know, that's empty. So I cannot cherish by any means. So I love the moments when people actually, just by drinking water in the same city as those rappers spitting those punchlines, they grow on it. They actually like this experiment, right? About some monkeys and some coconuts or however. Then they learn as a species, because in hip hop there is not only personal power of MC, which is master of ceremony, let me remind it, there is entire power of street, entire power of all affiliations, entire power of everything what is behind those sounds, and most often those are samples from very important songs, or songs just, let's say, from other times. So when you come back to time, I'm not living in places, I'm living in songs. So I have my home in some very specific songs. I spent more than, I don't know, years in them. More than years is what? Probably eons, but I don't know how you're gonna count it. I'm there, I'm present there. So there are some songs which I'm listening to when I need to summon entire hip hop within myself. There are some songs which I just listen to rejoice with his voice and to hear God, seriously, to remind what I love, and exactly to reconnect with my twin flame. And also I have some songs which I use just to high five with past, an entire heritage of past, which is like also, I could say, some heritage of hip hop. Remember, I was recording actively then in 2006. I dropped it all one day, and I decided to go silent, and I decided to actually, like, physically tear apart my contract and be actively busy with magic. So since then I'm just switching around, and also of course regret nothing, and I'm best rapper you never heard of. And well, I like to keep it like this. It's, don't get me wrong, it's like it's having some charm, and I consider myself private rapper. For me, rap is language of love. So if like people demand me to publish my new stuff, I'm like, who the fuck you think you are, right? I'm speaking it. I perceive life in rap music. However, the man himself is given to the world. I'm given to him. So my rap is also given to him. My entire presence in sound, in art, in everything. Yeah. So he is my reason to be alive. And because he loves hip hop so much, I always felt that when we're listening to the same songs, we can spend some seconds together. So, yeah, I was living on different continent, but was having approximately similar playlist, plus a bunch of Polish rappers. Then, well, I'm here right now, and I hope that you also gonna learn something. When you have something like this, some, I wouldn't say force, but I would say method, bringing you into entire, making you united within. If you have something which is actually your very own the possibility of getting into own power, or which is just something you love. You're supposed to spend as much time with it as you can. Either you're just listener, and also that's very important. Every act of art is having like mutual nature, is given and needs to be received. So the part is what the artist wanted to say, and also other parts, other half I would even say, is how it was received, is the influence on it, is the life of this act of art. So yeah, for example, of this very song. So it's important. Or if you're music creator, and because it's birthday of firstborn, let me mention that last 3 years I spent in Detroit precisely making music almost every day. The last 3 years, minus few months lately, well, you know, there is some place where I belong, and seriously, like star on the top of my fucking Christmas tree. So I'm going there because it's my home, and I know that I'm foreigner claiming some land, and you probably heard it before, and you can be touchy, but I'm coming with very peaceful approach, because I just want to make some hip hop, and exactly more like some dinner. I don't have a like ambitious to be public rapper. For me, it's enough that nobody in my entire life never defeated me on freestyle. So whatever I'm writing, I'm just leaving this behind. I call it snowing with letters, and you know, I'm more like freestyler. And because I could spend this time in Detroit with my great friends who've been fighting for me in life, seriously. You know, entire environment been like kinda against, because well, they had some problem with my skin tone and foundations. So seriously, probably this, let's say it loud, but my people claim that I'm their family, and I also say so. And you know, they risk everything, and right now I can say in this very video, like they already won entire incarnation, but they just do not know yet. Hopefully they will discover this very soon, because making music with them is blessing I've checked upon. And sometimes I've been drumming in the midst of the night, of course, 4 a.m. is like 5 a.m., something like this, my time, yep. And instead of being mad at me, they call me downstairs, join me, and we be making best music jam in entire like universe. And you know what? Even our neighbors been cool. Sometimes they've been screaming that we need to open windows more. Sometimes some cars been stopping and been listening to our music, especially after Firstborn started to share little bit more with reality, because he incredibly shy. So people pray for his own, let's say, free will. Let's say it loud, free will to share with humanity, because he has a lot to share. And this is in sounds, and this is most incredible instrumental music I've ever heard. And we made new genre with the name of witch hop, which is precisely shamanic hip hop, like I say abracadabra, because what I say becoming reality, because that's also the ritual. Not of course. We're recording at full moons or new, like awesome planetary transits. I'm not gonna elaborate on it in here, but I would say that right now when I look at my entire life and soundtrack of this life, I know that I made it through. Like this promise, which I made to myself about hip hop. Yeah, I see it alive. It's living. It's everywhere. Hip hop is most important music ever existing. Is precisely blessing that we can live in a time where we have such freedom. So if some people think about erasing some lyrics because some I don't know, society of Twitter or some other like you know, like weird small planet with people with some very certain view. If some groups want to terrorize rappers, I would say it even higher, like, you know, artists, to change their lyrics because they precisely do not want some war. I just say, where I have it. Oh, here. I found it. They're supposed to find it too. Listen, First Amendment. Amen. Demand. If rappers, people who are precisely avatars of courage, will just, you know, act this soft, then what different artists gonna say? Everything gonna die because of public opinion, and then we going where? Here or there? Like we still on some, like, you know, Colosseum fight and the hive mind, and some freak with a torch gonna decide who gonna survive and who ain't? Come on! Do not act like those thousands of years never happened. We're more than this. So, for me, hip hop is constant enlightenment. Seriously, sometimes I hear some song from a past, you know, and then it re-spark me from this very time, this very version of me, and then even if I'm on some phone call with someone or something, then I can hear rhymes to these very verses on the margin of reality. Yep. And sometimes when you think I do not listen to you, well, that's maybe because you said some words such funky way or majestic way or some either way which just played it with a beat I have in my own head, and then it made some avalanche of rhymes and yeah, in a moment. So hip hop is also a very great approach to reality, you know, because it's making you active. It's making you actually activist. Like, of course, you can just quote me entire discography of Travis Scott or even Loonies. I got 5 on it, and then I do not care till whatever, man. But I'm gonna say you this: if somebody cared enough to go there to the studio and tell you through microphone how very much they do not give a flying fuck, be sure they do. Yeah, they did enough to share. So that's probably more than you ever did, huh? So people in rap, they teach you how to say whatever you have in your heart. They teach you how to not censor yourself. That's precisely the first step to being free. So when you freestyle, then you need to have this, you know, self-trust, because you discover the next word in this very same moment as the crowd discovers this. So also, I learned trust. We've been freestyling a lot with Firstborn, and I don't know if you know this about him, but he literally is super great. However, we've never been battling, we're just creating forward, we're just spider waving rhymes. And when he is in his mode, you better have some water because you're gonna be absolutely dehydrated. 2 reasons. First, enchantment. The second, many hours. And seriously, we've been playing also a lot on drums, especially with Takiyah, and with some of my people out there in Detroit. So I just want to say prepare those drums, because eventually I might be somewhere around, right? And also, hip hop means to me sense of life, you know? And now we're going deeper. We need to go deeper. Sense of life, because, you know, when you have a family, then you live for the family, because you're either responsible, or you love them, or you feel like you're supposed to, which is maybe some guilt program or something. But you have some outer motivation. When you live like some, you know, ninja person who not attached to absolutely nothing, nobody, then everything is changing. Everything except of this very soundtrack, and eventually I may add some songs. But I maybe erased 3 songs in life from the playlist I'm creating. So I would say, for me, hip hop is constant development, because this is not only what person want to say, it's how the soul of this very person want to deliver this message. Same text, if I would read you this to the Koshi-chan, would have completely different meaning for you. But if I rap this, then you have this like in different sequence. Your stem cells and also your DNA are reacting on nucleotide level, but of course, as usual, semantically speaking, but different way. It's like a heat wave, you know? So, there's also about power. This is about atmosphere of a person too, like with every artist. Look, some person would be like mellow and always giving this strong impression that some shrooms been like going on, right? So shout Kid Cudi. And also like Jared Higgins. Yeah, 999, of course. So then you could hear in some music always the street vibe. They always on some type of message, so that's precisely narco corridos, sometimes from a future, because they send some warnings, and I like this type of rap. That's message there, without not even Samuel L. Jackson, you know it. So then, you can have this very beautiful rap, like, which is having super beautiful instrumentals, like I would say, mostly production of Griselda with Alchemist and Daringer, or Daringer, I never know this, and sorry for this. And then, seriously, bars, and I wouldn't even say punchlines, nor rhymes, nor metaphors, I would say like bars, crashing your ribs. And precisely, sometimes you just need to heal a moment after hearing this, like, or like recombine, or like, you know, send some spells, some condemnations, like, be active, like, because this music demanded. Or, you know, grams in water, sheesh, I love it. Yeah, that's literally very conscious song, however, about producing drugs, right? So there is like influence music, like drug music, like, let's say drug but in sound, right? So I'm not very fan of this type of stream of hip hop reality. I'm proud of Lil Wayne with like many things, but I wouldn't say that I'm some type of expert. So Big Daddy Kane said, "Lean on me." I would say, "Lean not on me. I know nothing." So, and shout Big Daddy Kane. Yeah. So this type of hip hop, which is melodic, which is, I would say, sexy, yeah, and also very interesting. You can hear it like 1,000 times, and the entire time you discover something. Like, you know, I'm from Poland, right? So I'm rapping in English, but if people don't see my lyrics, sometimes they ask me, oh, what language was it? And I just want to say, it was the language of my soul, and I'm gonna, you know, so there would be some death threats, but I have too much candles behind me, so I cannot drop them now, but you know what I mean, right? So then, because I feel they're not focused, they just not even try to perceive me. But then, I remind to myself that, okay, if people like foreigners, like myself, we sometimes cannot hear what the artist said in song because we don't know the word, and so we assume the closest word, right? So when I heard the word flawless, in the word of walk on water, that was like deliver the flawless, like what they want, you know, something, and then deliver the flawless, and now it's like, what the fuck they want right now? Your delivery to be without flow, because I was sure that flawless means, you know, flawless. So sometimes foreigners just need to be blessed with dictionary, or just, I don't know, smack over the head or something, whatever works. And that's why we have those lyrics printed, or they are on Genius.com, or, you know, there's like a lot of possibilities. However, there's also a very charming song on YouTube, which you can type right now, but hopefully in a different window. I know it's better than me, but it's supposed to give me a chance, maybe some seconds more, because the song is Ken Lee, Key, E, N, Lee, like Bruce Lee, and then you're gonna hear the foreigner who is sure she's speaking English, however she ain't. So that's happening for many people, and maybe not till that level, and I'm sorry for the song she picked, but I hope in this version you would love it. Yeah, and then there's something like misheard lyrics. So if you don't know about the struggle of person who just trying to be bilingual, but not maybe necessarily nailing it at the very beginning, right? Then you might put yourself at some knowledge and type misheard lyrics and then Nightwish, because you have some serious like lyrics there put on screen, so you can understand what we need to struggle. Remember, if you hear some person who is speaking English very lame way, this person is probably speaking some other language very good way. I'm just saying. So, shout for Firstborn and Takiyah, because since the very beginning, they not only understand me, they perceive me. Like, I heard myself speaking something on like tape on the beginning of my living in Detroit, right? And I have no idea what I said, like seriously. And those people spent like over 3 years with me, and they super okay with this. So at this point I need to say I love them. That's my family in sound. So for my birthday, I wish for myself and also for my friend Firstborn, for his music to be heard by everyone who needs to believe in own talent. Abracadabra. So for you to also have a second for your wish, and there is a candle, and there is some music, and you know, if you need to know, I believe in music. So now because you heard so much about hip hop and what I love, you can put your blessing into this very hip hop candle. And remember, at this birthday is gonna be multiplied by 3 values: birthday of hip hop, birthday of magic, and of course, this very moment you heard Abracadabra. And once again, thank you, Firstborn, and let's do some music very soon.